us discover your inner fashion ego. Contact Mika Nicole at 443-248-8879. She is also available for pop-up shops, vending events, and...
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now. Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com.
What did you do?
I must have pulled it too tight. Welcome back to the Artist Exchange. It's bolted into the wall. It's not
Right,
going
I was like,
anywhere.
my whole heart sank just a little bit.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. We're here scaring people to death. Right. It's bolted. It's bolted. That was just the reassurance of it. So today, I'm just going to get this out the air because if the person is listening, or the persons, because this is not the first time it happens. Woosah. See, that's why Roze came today.
I'm definitely 2017. I'm booing you. I'm just gonna boo.
No, for me, I'm not
messing
biting
around.
my tongue.
That's a lot of energy, but I will just boo.
The younger me had an issue with being reactive with my tongue. So I said in my 20s, I was not going to be that person. And that spilled over into my 30s. And today, I am not going to be the person that doesn't say, I don't go back and forth with people. That's not the attention span that I have. Because I was just talking to Roze, I get quiet. And I listen to myself cussing you out in my head. And I realized, oh, yeah, that wasn't to be said. It was funny, but it wasn't to be said.
I'm not going back and forth either. I'm just booing.
But today, right, get it together. But today, our guest that was scheduled for today, she chose not to be a part of the Artist Exchange, and I can't be mad at that.
Right.
Your business practices don't match up to mine, and that's fine. But I would hope that you would reach out and listen to the show that I have before you make yourself a guest. But I don't think that's what the problem was. But how I do business with people, I'm very organic, but I'm very attentive, and I'm very methodical, and I have purpose for everything that I do. I give you a lot of information, and that may seem like I'm talking too much to you, but if you didn't listen at all, you missed it.
Yeah.
And people don't ask questions because they wasn't listening. You got to know something in order to question it.
Yes. See, you can tell that's the sign of a true teacher. No, we did the lecture. Don't come after the lecture and ask me about it because I watched you chit-chatting with your homie sitting next to you the entire time I was talking. So I'm just going to put a 0 on. No, I'm not helping you. You can read the instructions in the book. It'll tell you how to do it. You can look at the examples I left on the board. Hopefully you can decipher it between reading and looking at the examples. But I've helped you, and you missed the help. You're going to have to come on your personal time to see me if you want more help.
And that's it.
Right.
And I'm this person. We have also Miss Rose Garden.
Yay,
She'll be starting the show with us shortly. Reclaiming Self, Wednesdays 5 to 7.
Yes, sir.
Here on BeExposedRadio.com. So Miss Rose had a comment.
Yes, here's the thing. There's a very big difference between people listening and hearing. Right?
Word.
And then also we have to take into consideration what is your hearing abilities. Right? Because I could look at you and say, girl, you look so nice and thick, and you could hear me say, she just called me fat.
But that could...
Definitions are personal
I'm really
sometimes.
Sorry, but I have a lot of women friends. Can't say female anymore. I have a lot of women friends. My family is 99% women. And I learned that's not necessarily a woman's issue, but it's definitely a issue that a lot of women suffer from based on a lot of insecurities.
I will say,
Sorry.
I will say no, and I will accept that there is definitely an issue in communication sometimes between men and women. Women hear something other
They
than
read
what is
between the
being
lines.
right. Where and sometimes it's unnecessary. So
Amen.
it's not always unnecessary, but sometimes it's real. And when people talk to me, they know I was saying that could just be my woman brain doing a little too much right now, but this is how I'm feeling and this is what I heard. But you got to have a conversation. And I agree. I think, and I will fight any woman who tries to say that we are not irrational at times. We are. We have our moments, and we have to own that and accept that and understand that and try to work through it, in my opinion.
When you think about in regards to our hearing, our hearing is based on our subconscious thoughts, and also it's based on our experiences.
Filters.
Right. So whatever filters that we have that are within us is going to support us in interpreting what the person's saying versus hearing what the person is saying.
But it happens in reverse too.
Of course.
With women, sorry. Because when you are speaking, your mind is doing the same thing. You are interpreting what you are thinking, so you're saying something completely different than what you're actually wanting to get across. I'm sorry, I'm around a lot of women a lot of times.
But this is the thing, growing up around a lot of men that taught me that's like, oh, that's not what you were saying? No, Arma, that's not what I was saying at all. Like, not even in the ballpark.
I'm
like, oh,
what did I care enough to dissect? No, tell me what it is that you want.
So I've learned to really, I'm not always great at it. I'm probably like a B student, maybe like a C+ student. But I've learned to really hear what's being said and then try to give the truth back, not an interpretation, but what I really feel.
Step aside, and what prevents you from doing that or keep you from doing that all the time is taking your emotions out of somebody else's mouth. Like, because I'm in my emotion, this is the emotion that I'm feeling right now. I can't then put that on everything that you say out your mouth.
Right.
I can't make you angry at me because I feel that you're being angry right now. No.
Projection.
That's why I don't like texting people, because the young lady from tonight, we were texting. I kept saying, call me. No, because you were mad. You didn't want to call me, so you continue to text. So text can be blown out of proportion, because for me, I get out every single word that I'm thinking in a text, because if you leave something out, that's leaving it to interpretation. And that's what ended up happening. So my words were turned into interpretation, opposed to you picking up your phone
and calling
me, so you can hear the tone of my voice, so you can see whether or not I'm just being concerned or trying to be helpful or just being
and that's right.
And adding another level to all that we've already said. Let's add the creative mind on that.
Hence why I limit the type of creative people that are in my life. I'm looking for more musician friends at this point. I've done with visual artists and actors.
Actors are so much.
I'm done.
I love us, but we are so much, man.
Boo boo, keep the drama to the stage, please.
And it amazes me.
The stage.
And one of the things that amazes me is how often actors don't realize that you're just adding a lot of unnecessary drama to your life.
You're looking for the verb and what they're saying. No, God, just the English language has 5 meanings for every word.
Right.
I'm not on that meaning. Oh my God, it's just a lot. But we have a lot to get to today, and like I just finished telling her, whether you have a guest or not, you are prepared. And my mise en place, sorry, that's the hunger in me speaking, because that's the mise en place is, French for have everything in order. So I have that together, and I normally have that in my mind, but I knew today was going to happen, so I just came prepared. So first thing is the introduction of today's topic is called Facing Fears, and part of that is communication.
Yes.
One of the boundaries in facing your fears is learning to effectively communicate.
Yes.
And that takes a lot of the knots out of your stomach in talking to people and introducing yourself into situations. I didn't know how to effectively communicate growing up because I had a speech impediment. So I was afraid that I wasn't going to be understood. So I would get up and I would start sweating. I never forget I was in elementary school and they asked me to get up and sing. I used to have a really nice voice, but if you don't use it, you lose it. And I was supposed to sing a song and something just told me, don't look out. And I looked out and the whole school was there. And
froze.
On the stage, I said, I have to go to the bathroom.
Nice.
And I did not come back to that auditorium.
Nice.
The Great Escape.
So what?
No, it wasn't like I was still in my seat and I said it.
No, you were on the stage.
In front of the mic.
You know, I watched that happen in a movie, right? There's a movie with the heavyset guy from Hitch. He plays a writer who writes a story about a spy who actually turns out to be a real person. So in it, he does that. I love the movie; it's so good. And in it, he does that. He writes the book, he releases the book, and immediately Katie Couric wants to interview him, and he's like, "But you were the one who put true memoirs. I didn't do that. I wrote a fiction story, and you told them it was true. Why am I interviewing with Katie Couric?" She's like, "Don't worry about it. It's just softball. She's gonna ask you 2 questions. You're gonna go away."
Never.
Then he gets there, and Katie got the book. She got notes. She got pages saved with little post-it. He was like, and she said, "So, how long were you an assassin?" He's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And he literally got up and on live television. It was hilarious.
I heard the piano start to play, and I just said,
"Nope."
Stop our bathroom.
Yeah.
So the teacher was standing. I said, I have to go to the bathroom. And I remember walking up that. We had a huge auditorium. It was.
You didn't even go off stage. You went up the auditorium.
Yeah, I had to walk through these.
Nate, that's the worst.
And we're gonna drive past the school because you go to see how huge the school is. I walked across the bridge to the other side where my classroom was, to that bathroom, and I just sit there for the rest of that. It was like an assembly. You know how you have assembly. And I sit there until I heard the bell ring for the assembly. And I went to my class, and I acted like it never happened.
Nice! Oh, my God.
But yesterday's topic, face and fears. I've never done that again, mind you. I've never done that again.
I have never done that ever, but I'm also not... Being in front of people doesn't scare me.
Well, again, this was elementary school,
right?
So I had that's when my speech impediment was at its height.
Right. I've never been. My issue was confrontation. Like, and it's funny because I grew up with brothers, so I'm in the house. They wrestle with me. They punch me. I can take. But if there's as an elementary school kid, if it was like I was gonna be in a fight, then I'm like, and tears are, because I'm not a confrontational person, so I'm not picking on people. I'm not a bully. That's not who I am. That's not how I'm built. So
she's the instigator.
I am a little bit of an instigator. I will own that.
But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We have a lot more information. I threw out a topic. What would you say to your 17-year-old self? I got some crazy and yet some profound.
There was some pretty crazy answers, yeah.
Also some entertainment news. Moonlight, homophilia. Homophobic. I wrote hobophilia on this page. Homophobicness in the black community and more when we return to the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Didn't get a chance to tune in last week? Well, here's what you missed on the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Being a stage actor, how has that prepared you for comedy?
Oh man, I think that being a thespian definitely gave me a head start and an advantage over most of the guys that just go right into comedy. I mean, it definitely helps with stage presence, memorization. A lot of comedians are gonna say they don't consider every aspect of the performance, like what you're wearing, how you say certain words, and being a stage actor, like I definitely, I'm thinking about every part of the joke when I write it or when I perform it. You know, like I try to do it as a performer without looking too stagey.
Tune in every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. and every Saturday 12 to 2 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com. This is the Artist Exchange. Real artists, real talk. Didn't get a chance to tune in last week? Well, here's what you missed on the Artist Exchange radio show.
It's a team now.
It's a team.
And she's not doing everything on her own.
Still working 24/7, but yeah.
But it's now in your lane. So how has it helped you with having this strong team?
Well, we're able to do more.
Right.
Like, just me alone, I was only able to do so much.
Right,
and then with the team, we're able to do so much.
So it's now just delegating and being able to separate.
But it's also good, too, with the team getting different points of view. And everybody on this team is also a creative person. So getting points of view of, like...
for you?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, if we're going to work with artists, I want people that actually know what it's like to be an artist.
Right.
You know? Like, what's it like to be a starving, struggling artist?
Like having a school board of people who have never taught.
Oh, don't even get me on that subject.
Okay, my bad. I
was reading politics until 3 o'clock in the morning last night. Oh, gosh, what a nightmare. But, yeah, so I mean, the team part, like, we're just able to do more, and we get so many different perspectives, too, because we have a hip-hop artist, a visual artist. You know, China's 11 years younger than me, so there's a big age gap, too. And then Jonathan Richardson, a.k.a. Stilo, he's a DJ, a music producer, and tech guy, but he's in his 40s. So we have, like, this great overall age gaps. We have everyone has different, personalities, so you're kind of getting, like, this whole overall picture of working with artists from different demographics and ages and, what people struggle with and kind of coming together to, fill those voids and solve those problems.
Right.
And you can't do that alone because I have my perspective. I don't have Shep's perspective or China's perspective.
And it's possible to start this or reignite that artistry in you. And we can equate this to even being an entrepreneur in general.
Right.
But it's so much more powerful when you have individuals that are like-minded and they have similar energies that work together and create that harmony because you get so much more accomplished.
Tune in every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. and every Saturday 12 to 2 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com. This is the Artist Exchange. Real artists, real talk.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the station with their ear to the streets. BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live on BeExposedRadio.com.
I wasn't ready.
So I have a couple announcements, some things that are going to be changing and evolving with the Artist Exchange. First of all, Hotel RLs is always the first Thursday of every month. This month we have Mr. Chris Michael. He was a guest on the show, along with Miss Queen Theme. She is an awesome young lady. She has a story behind her lupus ordeal, and she's living with lupus, and she's an artist as well. So she is following that path of a Toni Braxton that is really choosing to live, because anytime you have anything dealing with your heart, they tell you life for you is sit still, a real sedentary life, and you have to sometimes move beyond that, because you could die faster not moving.
Doing anything.
A lot
Amen.
of athletes who go into retirement wind up dying from sedentary lifestyles because they're so used to utilizing that pace.
There are lots of people who talk about retiring from, like NFL in particular, because there's a serious regimen. You are at practice at 5 in the morning every day, and you go from doing something from 5 from 5 to 9 every day, and you doing hard work to doing nothing at all if you have no plan. There was one football player who said he used to get up, take his kids to school, go back home, turn out all the lights, close all the doors, make the house dark, and just sit there.
Yeah, the young man we had on that played with
he was the one. He was telling us that.
Also, so that's the first Thursday of every month. Like I said, this month we'll have Chris Michaels and Miss Queen Fiend. Also, February the 4th, and every first Saturday in the month will be a partnership with Artist Compound, the individuals we had on a few weekends ago. That's the first Saturday of every month. And it's hashtag the Living Art Series on the Artist Exchange Radio Show in conjunction with the Artist Compound. So this Saturday coming up, the first Saturday of February, we'll have 2 different artists. We'll have a live painter in the building. We'll also have a singer, guitarist come in, and it'll be a live performance from them. It'll be an interview, but it'll be a live performance. And on the first Fridays of every month, starting on February the 10th, we're going to have an unplug session with a musical artist. So an interview and then an unplugged session with them. The first one will be Miss Jazzo. She'll be joining us. This is dedicated to singers, rappers, musicians, in an unplugged format. So we're going to get more interactive, more creative up in here. So I'm also talking to a young man about visual artists. He wants to do a blog for visual artists, but I want to have them more visual artists in the building with us. So you never know what might come up. And then, of course, the last Saturday of every month is our drama reading series. So if you are a writer, if you have an original piece, or if you are an actor who wants to be a participant in this series, definitely hit us up. The Artist Exchange Radio Show at gmail.com. And come on out. So the first one will be this Saturday, tomorrow.
Yep.
We're doing the play
Sure Thing by David Ives. Yes.
Miss Big Mama Amma directed it. And we'll have Kenyon and Alexis Taylor as our first 2 actors. So definitely tune in for that. There's sponsorship availability and opportunities available for that because we want to pay these artists for doing the work that they do. But aside from that, we are definitely on the ball with our regular program. We're going to be doing an entrepreneurial segment starting in March, and then every month after that, we'll be doing a show based on entrepreneurship and just community development at large. The day segment will be bringing up the movie Moonlight and talk about some of the themes of Moonlight. In an interesting conversation that I did not have, but I overheard the other day right here at the studio, and we had some guests that were talking about it after their show, and just the idea of being offended by someone's sexuality is appalling to me because I could just remember people being appalled by the color of your skin.
Right.
And we're now doing it to a whole nother population. It's that idea of once I get to a certain level, now
the dog.
Right, I can kick the dog now. And that's a slave mentality.
Yes, it is.
That is definitely showing itself in how we relate to people who are different from us. And we cannot be those people by any measure. I'm not saying you need to go hug a tree and go date somebody of the same sex and accept.
But respect that someone else does.
That's the key word. Respect is definitely the key word. And it's the idea of media pushing this homophobic ideal onto other people, opposed to me wanting my story told. It's not that, but it's just me wanting to push who I am off on you.
Right.
But it's the same thing that's happening in the black culture where we're doing more black films because we want our story to be told.
Right.
The same thing in all the other brown communities and cultures and the Asian and the Hispanic. People just want their story told. It's not about me pushing
with
my
respect.
Agenda. Right. It's not about me pushing, and it should not be about me pushing my agenda in the case of religion, where a lot of people who practice the religion are now beating people as if it's a weapon and not a tool. And you really have to express yourself in a very open way where you're not directing your attention onto someone that is it's negative, and it should not be negative. So we're going to talk more about that when we come back from the next break. Don't forget to call in 410-702-5657 or text us if you're feeling a little shy at 443-642-9403. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to our YouTube page at Be Exposed Radio. Also, the Artist Exchange Radio Show page. Subscribe to us. Share us with your cousins, your uncle, the lady down the street. She may talk to herself, but she might see something that she like in the show and be able to talk to herself about it. So definitely stay tuned, stay locked in. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
Didn't get a chance to tune in last week? Well, here's what you missed on the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Being a stage actor, how has that prepared you for comedy?
Oh man, I think that being a thespian definitely gave me a head start and an advantage over most of the guys that just go right into comedy. I mean, it definitely helps with stage presence, memorization. Just, you know, a lot of comedians in the city, they don't consider every aspect of the performance, like what you're wearing, you know, how you say certain words, and being a stage actor, like I definitely, I'm thinking about every part of the joke when I write it or when I perform it. You know, like I try to do it as a performer without looking too stagey.
Tune in every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. and every Saturday 12 to 2 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com. This is the Artist Exchange. Real artists, real talk.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
If you had a dream venue, where would that be? Like, some people want to do Carnegie Hall or like a big stadium somewhere.
I want to go with Madison Square. I wanna feel that
so
building.
So you just shoot for the moon.
I want to feel it. I want to look out and just feel the vibration of all of those people there to be uplifted and all of that, because that's what I want to do for people.
So are you dancing? Or are you...
I want to implement that. I think I want to start doing some blocking. Like, not like, and tear it up. But just like a
little 1-2.
Hell, a little, not voguing, but kind of the essence of it. Very posy and, hit the mark. Yeah, we're not trying to like bust my sweats.
So that's mean you don't have the dance gene and you.
I can dance.
Okay,
that's
not what I
want to do. I can dance, but I'm not, trying to give that. That's not my lane. I want to keep it really kind of a retro feel with like the new school with a retro feel. Like
okay, little bandsy soul.
Yeah.
People gonna start using that.
Right. And they should.
Little bandsy soul. Yeah. But just mark it so people know like this was mine.
This where it came from. Because people was queens out here now that was princesses last week. They was princesses before my album dropped. Now they queen or something. I'm like, pinky up.
I cannot. The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
To the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live on BeExposedRadio.com. It's me, your host, Nate Couser. Not Couser, not Couser, not Couser, but Couser. I mean, Couser.
You just...
I've been misspelling it or mispronouncing it my whole life, so I'm used to it, but I still correct it. I also have my host, Big Mama Alma, joining us.
What's up, y'all?
And Miss Roze Garden, who will be joining us shortly in February with her show, Reclaiming Self. Reclaiming Self on Wednesdays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
That's right.
So because of a conversation that I've heard this conversation in the last couple of months about a lot of black movies. It's always something. Fences, they didn't really believe Denzel. It was always something about every black movie that we just pick apart. And sometimes just take your mouth off of stuff and just don't watch it. If you don't like it, don't promote it. Don't like Trump, stop talking about him. Like, that's is easy. He wants, this is fueling his, I'm not even getting into that. I'm not doing that. He doesn't get any more of my talk.
Amen. Until he does something
But there
ridiculous.
was a movie called Moonlight that was released in October of last year, 2016. But it had been circulating, and it did a couple festivals, so it got some good buzz. And then it was released to all theaters, actually, because it was up at the Charles Theater as well.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, we were supposed to go see it.
Okay.
And it was really, it dealt with a young man growing into himself. And it wasn't just about homosexuality, but a lot of people felt they were pushing the agenda. And because now it's getting Academy Awards and, nominations.
Right.
And a lot of attention because it's the award season. So you're going to hear the cream of the crop is raising.
Right.
So it's going to be prevalent if it got a lot of attention. If a lot of people liked it, that's why you're going to hear about it. Because it's got nominations. So everything that gets a nomination, you're going to hear about it right now.
Yes.
And a lot of people take this whole, what do they call it? Personal agendas or conspiracies to a whole nother level. Everything has a conspiracy. And sometimes it's just not that
Everybody's
deep.
trying to plant something in your brain.
Right, it's not that, sometimes it's just not that deep. And if you don't like it, why do you support it? You know, by putting Trump's name on everything on your social media page, you gave him free publicity.
Yep.
To the people who did not know who he was, to the people who were living under a rock somewhere. You were giving them free publicity. Every time you speak something on something that you don't like, you're giving it attention and you're putting light on it. So
You're giving it life.
Right, you're giving it life, legs and limbs to be able to move around. And it's crazy to me that if you have this issue with it's mainly the conversation I hear are from a certain type of man, overly masculine or really insecure women of the black race, both of them, that have the most issue with someone being homosexual. And me personally, I've never felt the need to discuss who I am and who I'm doing with anybody because it's my personal, that's how I was raised. You don't let people go up your stairs. So, and that's figuratively and physically, they stay in the living room. So that's the information that you give out, your living room information. Nothing more than that. But we have this need to just know everything about people. And not for anything to use it for in most cases, just to know. It's just, people just like to chat. And chatter is just so prevalent now. But this movie has definitely garnered a lot of attention.
Here's the thing. People, and this is just my opinion, a lot of times would prefer to focus on somebody else's life than their own. So let me not deal with my issues. Let me look in your laundry basket and see what you got. See what you got going on. Because now I'm not required to deal, look at, identify, or fix anything about me. I can just look at you and tell you what's wrong.
And
here's the other thing, and for me, it lives here. There is it's a very difficult thing in America, which amazes me because America was founded on the principle of removing religion from government. But we grow up in a country that very much wants us to govern ourselves according to one religion in particular, which not the majority of us believe in anyway. But most of these decisions, most of these opinions are weighted by a religious background, a religious viewpoint. And for me, in all of the rhetoric that I hear, it seems that love is supposed to be the thing that we promote. And how can you look at one human being giving love to another human being in whatever way they choose and feel like that's wrong? That doesn't make, and then call yourself part of any religion. That doesn't make sense to me.
But the people who are coming from that religious place, one, they ain't in a church. They're not currently practicing a religion, or they're in a religion, but they're not living what they're preaching. And those are the two big groups of people that I just said are attacking these issues and making it about themselves. Opposed to, this is how this person was born.
That was his story, and that's what he wanted to share his story.
No more than I can change my origin as far as my culture.
Right.
I can't change certain things about myself.
No.
And sexuality is one of those things that I believe
you can't.
That you are born with. I can't persuade you to do anything outside of holding a gun to your head or threatening a loved one.
Right.
I mean, and if you choose to do it beyond this gun being at your head, maybe there's some psychological issues, but...
And, for every individual that lives a life that is limited, and I don't want to say limited, for every individual that
isolated,
right? No, that has something inside them, a secret desire. We'll say it that way. For every individual that has a secret desire, there are those who choose to live.
Sometimes it's just an impulse.
Well, no, I'm going to say secret desire because I feel like there are a lot of people who are homosexual who live a straight life because that's what society tells them they're supposed to do. And for me, I guess, at some point, you have to start to live the life you want to live. You have to. You can't, because all in living a life that someone else tells you you're supposed to live, all you do is plant seeds of resentment and hatred in yourself because you're unhappy about everything. And you're not going to find joy anywhere until you learn to live your own truth and own it and be okay with that. And it's a journey. Self-love, I know I struggle with it. I was on Facebook the other day complaining about myself, and people were like, you should be nicer. And I'm like, I'm working on it.
A lot of people doing that, that's their process. That's why I don't bash people for doing that, because they don't have any other... If they had better friends and better family and a better surrounding system, they would not need to be on Facebook. But we don't have better friends. We don't have friends that if I bring something to you, it's not gonna get on social media. So I might as well cut out the middleman and put it on myself.
And the other thing, because that's something I personally deal with. I know I yell at friends for being way too open on Facebook. My mother fusses at me. She thinks,
you're supposed
and
to
for
call
me,
that person, say, hey, what's going on?
For me,
that should be what your instinct is.
A lot of times when I get to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put this on Facebook, and for me, it's more of a, hey, you're not the only one who suffers from these things. And in fact, there were two people who hopped on that who were like, yo, I go through the same thing. And my words were, I have this issue when I make a decision and then it blows up in my face. I have this, I go through this process of, okay, here's one more dumb decision you made. Look at all these other dumb decisions you made. And then I have to work on not living there, because I'm the kind of person who can live there. I will live there for months being mad at myself. And I have to pull, and it's work. It's work to get out of that. And so I was just sharing, like, I go through this and I'm going through it now, and you're not the only one who's going through it, kind of deal. Sometimes that's my motivation.
And that's what and that's going to take us to our next
She got one.
segment.
Roze wants to say something before we hop up.
No, I'm just saying, but that's going to take us to our next segment. That's why what would you do at 17 means so much to me. And I'll connect it to the movie that we saw, 3.5 Minutes in 10 Bullets. But go ahead, Roze.
So one of the things I want to say is that entire experience of being hard on ourselves, that requires reframing how we talk to ourselves. And also of identifying our personalities. You're an artist, right? Artists are always naturally more harder themselves than regular people. Because think about it, it's almost crazy that the most sensitive population, which are artists, I'm an artist too, we are so sensitive.
Aware, But that sensitivity is this awareness.
It's awareness, but it's also a reality, right? So we've got this already overt sensitivity within us. Now, we are asked to do the most vulnerable thing in the world, create, and now I'm going to stand on a stage, present it to the world to be critiqued. Right? So there's always that self-criticism that's really deep. So part of healing ourselves, reclaiming ourselves, coming back to self is really...
Look at that self-promotion. You hear that self-promotion?
It's really about being able to not be so hard on ourselves and choosing very clear, very... lack of words, choosing the right words to use on ourselves. So instead of saying, look at all the mistakes
Words
I've made,
power.
really saying, you know what? Look at all these opportunities that I had to learn how to do something differently.
Or just taking those mistakes and being able to pull from them lessons, like you just said, and making decisions on those lessons instead of staying stuck and looking backwards.
And that is a key.
Half full, not half empty.
Right, that's one of the keys to success is being and that's what success people who are quote unquote successful, whatever your personal definition is, but people who are successful are going to tell you about the times they failed because they want to tell you about what they learned. More often they're going to tell you about the things that worked because it worked.
Shout out to the individuals that's looking at us. Mr.
Hi.
Titus,
Oh yes, I should
Jennifer
invite some
Pearl,
people.
Ms. Sharon Nixon, Thaddeus, Mr. Ernest E. Digger. Sharon says, we want to know. What you want to know, Miss Sharon? Tevin Brown. Okay, we got some celebrities in the building. Hey, Miss Catherine, Miss Philly. I really admire people's strength, but I'm gonna go a little bit. I think we got a couple more minutes, but just a little bit into the synopsis of this play, Moonlight. Sharon Alex, played by Alex Hibbert. I think I'm saying this name right. Is a shy and withdrawn child dubbed Little, which they gave him that name, for his meek personality and size. He's found hiding from a pack of bullies by Juan. I'm not gonna give everybody a name because it's crazy. A crack dealer who takes Sharon to his house where he lives with his girlfriend. After being fed dinner and allowed to spend the night, Sharon begins to open up. The next morning, Juan delivers Sharon back to his emotionally abusive mother. The only other person to whom Sharon finds companionship is his friend Kevin, who begins to grow an attachment to Sharon and Juan. Sharon and Juan continue spending more time together. The latter teaching Sharon how to swim while advising him. And I'm going to stop. There's a play called How I Learned How to Drive a Car. I think I just messed that up. And it's about a young woman having sex for the first time. And it's a very inappropriate relationship. But this story kind of mimics that a lot. And the same idea that we see in young people who join gangs, young people who start using drugs, they find solace in individuals that give them love, despite how that love is then reflected on them or how they're introduced to different worlds or different inappropriate things. But they find some type of comfort in that. In this movie, that is what's being... So they miss the whole idea of this is a child.
Right.
Finding comfort in someone who is listening to them, paying them attention. But then he goes back home to a lifestyle that's not conducive to him expressing himself or sharing who he is.
Right.
So he then finds this, quote unquote, what we think of as an inappropriate relationship in someone who is giving me attention.
Right.
And we go ahead to find that play, How I Learned How to Ride. It's like a classical play, but it's very inappropriate how the relationship came to be, but it shows us how people get their start.
Right.
You know, if you were molested at a certain age, I remember, I'll never forget that show Oprah did with that whole group of men who had been molested. And a couple of them were finding themselves having homosexual feelings because as a child, it felt good. Even though what was happening to them was not a good thing, the feeling of sex feels good. So you attach that to something I want.
Right.
Opposed to this isn't something I necessarily wanted. But we have to realize not every child was born into this ideal that same way.
Right.
Not every gay person was molested or raped.
Right.
And we in our minds feel that's the only way, oh, they must have been touched. And even if they were, you don't know if those feelings were there to begin with. And not to say that it's the miniskirt syndrome,
right,
that they deserved it. But it happened to them. So now what? But because you weren't able to communicate or talk to your children effectively, they never got to express that to you. They never got to share that thing because it could have been a deciding factor for them. And then often a lot of them grow up and they detach themselves from that because they realize this is not something that I want. This is not something that I like. It felt good,
right,
but it's not something that I like.
Right.
Because then they learn what sex is and they realize anybody can touch me there and it could feel good.
Right.
It doesn't mean that this is the person I want touching me.
Right.
So I'd advise everybody to go watch the movie. Don't do like we did for Nate Parker's movie and just go off an impulse and go off a thought.
Hearsay.
Hearsay. Actually go out and listen to it itself. We're going to talk about Chrisette Michelle a little bit later, and that was the biggest problem that I had with a lot of people that are making comments. Nobody watched her performance, so we just assumed that she was a Trump supporter. But if you watched her performance, you would have realized what she actually sung about, and even down to what she had on. What political statement she was actually making.
Yeah, I told no. I knew what she was going from. I still don't think she hit the nail on the head. She missed it completely.
We're going to get back to this conversation when we
he was in the ballpark.
And more of this conversation will return to the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BeExposedRadio.com. Miss O'Sheen is watching.
Didn't get a chance to tune in last week? Well, here's what you missed on the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
It's a team now.
It's a team.
And she's not doing everything on her own.
Still working 24/7, but yeah.
But it's now in your lane. So how has it helped you with having this strong team?
Well, we're able to do more.
Right.
Like, just me alone, I was only able to do so much. And then with the team, we're able to do so much.
Mm-hmm. So it's now just delegating and being able to separate.
And it's also great, too, with the team getting different points of view. Mm-hmm. And everybody on this team is also a creative person. So getting points of view of like...
for you?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, if we're going to work with artists, I want people that actually know what it's like to be an artist.
Right.
You know? What's it like to be a starving, struggling artist?
Like having a school board of people who have never taught?
Oh, don't even get me on that subject.
Okay, my bad. I
was reading politics until 3 o'clock in the morning last night. Oh, gosh. What a nightmare. But, yeah, so I mean, the team part, like, we're just able to do more, and we get so many different perspectives, too, because we have a hip-hop artist, a visual artist. You know, China's 11 years younger than me, so there's a big age gap, too. And then Jonathan Richardson, a.k.a. Stilo, he's a DJ, a music producer, and tech guy, but he's in his 40s. So we have, like, this great overall age gaps. Everyone has different, personalities, so you're kind of getting, like, this whole overall picture of working with artists from different demographics and ages and, what people struggle with and kind of coming together to, fill those voids and solve those problems.
Right.
And you can't do that alone because I have my perspective. I don't have Shep's perspective or China's perspective.
And it's possible to start this or reignite that artistry in you. And we can equate this to even being an entrepreneur in general.
Right.
But it's so much more powerful when you have individuals that are like-minded and they have similar energies that work together and create that harmony because you get so much more accomplished.
Tune in every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. and every Saturday 12 to 2 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com. This is the Artist Exchange. Real artists, real talk.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
What's up? Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. We're live on BeExposedRadio.com. I hope my engineer can find the poem that Chrisette Michelle did. If he has a moment of his time. I know this is kind of on the spur of the moment, but it was kind of what it is. So it's a question that I ask to all my guests that come on the show. Miss Roze, and it is what advice would you give to your 17-year-old self? For me, because 17, just real quick and explain it. 17 to me meant the veil of youth was being lifted. So a lot of those lies, like at that point, it wasn't the Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus, but it was like, and I'm not saying personally, this was my experience, but this is the time when you start understanding things that people are saying, like that ain't your daddy, or
you talk about what, 8, 9 o'clock, 8, 9,
like 17, the age of 17.
Really?
Well, you are introduced to it maybe younger, like family members are whispering, you hear it. But by the time you're 17, you know that they're talking.
Yeah,
about
you're at the precipice of adulthood.
Know, wow, so this man who I thought, and this lady right here, and you start realizing, hey,
Thinking about things that happened 10 years ago, and you're putting it together.
Yeah. And the questions are then planted in your head. They were already seeds at first because you've heard somebody say it, but then you start having those conversations with yourself, like,
yeah,
Uncle Willie, that ain't his roommate. That's things like that.
Right.
You start realizing. So that's a overall theme, and I'll ask you if you're willing to answer.
Always.
But what advice would you give to your 17-year-old self?
The advice that I would give my 17-year-old self is listen. Listen and learn from other people's mistakes. It's really interesting because we get older, and I hear people say it all the time. Oh, if I had known back then what I know now, I wouldn't have XYZ. But here's the joke. Somebody told you.
Somebody
you just
said
didn't
it.
listen. You didn't experience it.
Right.
But
Is
somebody
Jabril
told
out
you.
there right now? He's out there.
He ain't listening though. He can't hear us.
Just come and have a seat right here, sir.
It's catching up with him now. The starting to.
And you hear those things, and I know him. Because they look at you, especially if you didn't succeed, if you don't look like success.
Their definition of success.
You know what you're talking about.
Right.
Because if you're not Oprah or Jay-Z or Barack Obama,
you ain't never experienced nothing. You don't know nothing.
So that's one of the main things I would say. Stand on my shoulders. There's no need for you to go in the basement and figure it all out. Stand on my shoulders. Listen to what I'm trying to say to you. Don't be so defensive. I love you. I hear you. I feel you.
And it's all about the delivery, too.
Of course.
Because one of the things, I tell a story about being in a play, and my professor wanted me to learn gospel songs. And I knew hymns, but I didn't necessarily know gospel songs. And she said, well, you don't know this? And I said, well, no, because, it took you how long to learn this song?
Right.
I just was introduced to it, so I just needed to learn it. And it's the idea of your delivery is sometimes off-putting to somebody who's already hearing things from every different angle, all these perspectives, and the veil has just been lifted. So now is that thing of what would happen if you could hear people's thoughts.
The veil has been lifted, and the hormones have started.
Yes. They're in high gear by the time you're 17.
Right.
So you're hearing all these impulses, all these opinions, and you don't know what to do with all of them. And you just want everybody to... I just remember being 16, 17. I just wanted people to shut up.
Leave me alone. Just give me some space.
I can't take all this in. It's like cramming for a test. I can't... Shut up, please. Just leave me alone. And that's where the attitude thing comes in. Because I'm tired of people telling me what I should be doing right now. Can I do it? Can I make a mistake? You giving me options, but can I at least make a mistake? Some of the responses, and I just wrote down a couple. If you go to our radio show page or my personal page, you can also see a lot of the responses. But I asked the question on several different social media sites. What would you say to your 17-year-old self? What advice? Jason Wynn said he would play football. And I said, well, why didn't you? He said because he didn't get he didn't get the scholarship to the school he wanted to go to. He ended up at Morgan, but he didn't go to the school that he wanted to go to, so it was pointless. Ball performance up now. Roll. I'm sorry.
You asked me to find something for you, didn't you?
Say it again.
You asked me to find something for you?
Oh, yeah. Not yet. Not the next segment. See, I was doing, but you on it. He's on it. See? No worries.
Asking you shall receive.
But I asked him, so I began to communicate. And when I say this was all in like a 2-day period of my phone going off, because this is something that people have inside of them.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of regret that we live in.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when that 30 ball starts rolling around.
Oof.
Start seeing it. But
I don't even talk about how
but
every time I go to the bathroom, I come out like just like, why did I think about that?
He ended up at a school that he didn't intend, that he didn't really want to go to, and he chose not to play football there because he could not,
right.
He wasn't at the school. Miss Valencia Wallace says one day your uniqueness will pay off. I asked her, well, when did she get it? And she told me just a few years ago. She was 28 and she had just got it. So it doesn't always happen in a certain amount of time, but for everybody it's different. But that's a thing we go through because we want to be like. We see that on TV. I want that outfit. I need to have that attitude. But then you realize in your life, I got to stand out. Like, maybe I should have went to the thrift shop instead of going to that store. But Miss Riga Ruby says, keep pursuing your dreams and don't waste time on dudes who don't value you for you.
Oof.
UAP. Miss Rachel Perry says, don't make choices about school based on romantic relationships.
I know. I had a friend who did that. She went to a school to follow her boyfriend because he got a scholarship, and by the time Christmas rolled around, they were ready to
the whole semester.
Not even the whole. By the time Christmas rolled around, they were ready to kill each other. It was kind of crazy.
Undecided Matthews of Who Got Bars says, save every dollar.
Yes.
We out of time? Oh, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com. People got deep.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement. Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know they're probably just a little bit nervous. You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
You can improve your future. You can do this. I know you can.
You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up. Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
When you were a little kid and you thought about what you wanted to be, teaching was at the top of your list. But things changed. And as you got older, teaching didn't seem like the best option anymore. So you're thinking you'll be something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Now you want to be a doctor. You don't think teachers save lives? 25 at a time. An actress? Try playing a different role every time the bell rings. How about a scientist? Ever heard of physics? Chemistry? Who do you think teaches that? Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, and taking learning far beyond the four walls of the classroom. It's time to recognize that great things are happening in teaching and put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
You're listening to the station with their ear to the street.
These grades, you really need to, I don't, like, what are you, and so, when after that, that was it. Like, I didn't go on another, the only other audition I went on was for New World School of the Arts. They were going to let me in. It was much cheaper because they were, New World does the college courses for the conservatory at the school, and then they send you to Miami-Dade Community College for your college credits. Okay. But when you graduate, you actually graduate with the degree from the University of Florida because New World's part of the, right.
Program.
Right. So that was, my mom was like, oh, you're going to graduate with a degree from university? Go here. And I was like, okay, but that, I didn't care. I still don't care about a degree. I don't. And I respect those who get them. Oh, please, congratulations. I understand the amount of work you put in. I don't care. If I never have one, I don't care. I don't care. I could not care less.
Way too little easy at 17 years old.
And I think about that a lot because
especially after these 4 years.
If I wish I had listened. I wish I had listened to myself. I was always a pretty self-assured kid. I always was no, I'm not doing that. Or yeah, sure, I'll do that. I was always very much like that, So when I graduated from high school, I didn't really want to go to college. I went to college because that's what I was supposed to do. And my parents are both college graduates. So, of course, and they're the first, like their parents weren't college graduates. And they were, right. And so I was like, okay. So I went, I mean, my parents are both, their stories are interesting. The only reason my mother went to college is because Jackson offered her a full ride. She graduated from high school.
Parents. It wasn't even
an option for that. You're correct. And my mother hadn't been thinking about college. She was like, all right, I'm done with high school. Now what? And Jackson was like, we will pay you to come here and do what you do. She was like, all right, sure, no problem. And my dad, when he graduated from high school, he wanted to go to college. He wanted to, but he wanted to major in African American studies because his father was a military man, and both my parents were born in 1955, and what my mother experienced is not what my father experienced because he was a military kid. And in the military, race was a little different. Not real different, but a little different. So there wasn't as much of the in-your-face racism that he dealt with until he got out and was on his own and then began studying. So, they both encouraged me. And I absolutely, if college is something that you want and or need, absolutely it is. There is a great deal of value in seeking higher education and bettering yourself, but it is not a necessity at all. And I didn't
individually, because some people need that.
I just said that.
Yeah.
You hopped in on the back end of it because I said that. If it's something that you need or want, absolutely, there's a great deal of value in it. But if you don't want it and you don't need it, don't do it. There's value. There is just as much value in experience.
Here's the thing. I'm just gonna throw in there, but have a plan.
Yes.
Don't just decide I ain't gonna do it. Have a plan.
Do something at least, right? Because I was a person who went and got a job. Like I'm not sitting around my house. That's not even who I am. I'm not even built like that. It's like I can't even do that. I had a job, and I worked I am the kind of individual that it takes about 3 or 4 months to be at a job, and I've learned what I need to know. And you know how to do this? Like, yeah, I figured it out. I went and I learned how to do it. I asked somebody to teach me because I feel like that was something that was important to know. So after 3 or 4 months, people are realizing, not only like she cares and she's learning stuff that she doesn't have to. So I'm the kind of, I know how to make myself valuable and how to get myself promoted. So working a job was what made sense for me. And if I had a chance to go back, I would have told myself, just go get a job and figure out what you really want to do. Because
but
you're
like,
yeah.
that's crazy.
Yes.
There
There are lots of things I think about when I think about going back and telling myself
parts of me agree, but I just know the value for us. People specifically that look. I sit in a meeting last year during the election season, and I listened to a candidate, female, that did not look anything like my mother or look like me, tell me that these inner city youth need to go to a trade school. But yet her child is at a 4-year university on a scholarship. That is, for me, I know how my mother was the first generation of a college student. A lot of my family did not have the option of college. So for me, on that fact alone, historically, I'm going to try it. Not even just the education, but just meeting people in a space. And me and I'm going to go back and forth
yes,
on
we
this.
do.
For me, college is more about privilege, giving yourself those resources. Now, Trump's kids, they could be dumb as doorknobs, but because they could say they went to Columbia and Harvard, they have a leg to stand on. And I'm not equating Coppin and Morgan to Harvard or Yale.
But see, that's one of the things that vexes me is you are dumb as doornails. I can do the job you are doing better than you, but the only reason you got it is because you got a piece of paper. That's bullshit.
No, well, not in their case. It's not the piece of paper because we don't even know how smart they are. It's because they have money. But we're competing with people who have long money, who have legacy money. So you have to be able to compete with them. Not saying that your intelligence couldn't stand on its own, but they're not even going to let you into a meeting to even ask them a question.
But see, that's
if you don't have a piece of paper.
Okay, so then that's where we differ because I'm the motherfucker that's like, oh, I can't go down this road because I don't. That's cool. I'm gonna just hack through this motherfucking woods and build my own goddamn road. I don't need your fucking road. But that's who I am. I'm sorry, and I'm getting very cursy. Let me sit down.
Mr. Trey Sirius 6 Brown says we work in the Brown house.
Hi, Trey. That's my brother. Yes, we do. We are hard workers, and my dad raised us on be a blessing. Hard work is good health, and we were both raised as people who were part of sports and all that, like all those things that are about team building and perseverance and discipline. And my dad is very much a disciplined person, and my mother is too. She's much more sweet, but she's also very much about you have to do something. You can't do nothing. What do you mean you're doing nothing? Right.
And
are you calling? Call. Yay, call. Talk to us.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to read a couple more of them. I'm going to skip over hers. Tara says, focus on self, education, finances, streams, and I would have gotten farther sooner if she would have done that at 17.
Don't forget, this is people, what they would say to their... Yes, this is Trey?
Yes, this is Trey. Hey, girl, how are you?
Hey.
Hey.
Okay, so the question that we are asking, I'm going to jump you right in, is what would you say to your 17-year-old self?
What would I say to my 17-year-old self?
Yes.
Okay. I would tell my 17-year-old self to work harder. And what I mean by work harder is I was the one that was, I'm going to play sports. When I grow up, I'm going to be a pro athlete. I wanted to play soccer. I was able to make this happen. Probably not to the level that I wanted to, but I did. And so, in making this happen, if I go back, there's a lot of things that I went through just to put myself in position to be able to play. I had to learn how to build relationships. I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to be able to explore different possibilities that I wasn't open to before. So if I went back and I was talking to my 17-year-old self, I would say be more open.
So those experiences would have been easier for you opposed to you having to force yourself to do it?
I was very guarded. When I left Jacksonville to go to college, Yeah. When I left Jacksonville to go to college, I actually went to a predominantly white school. I played soccer. There's not many black schools that give scholarships for soccer players.
There aren't many black schools that have soccer programs anyway, which is
right,
completely
right.
ridiculous. But
That kind of pushed me into a corner. But when I went to school, there was a lot of nervousness and unrest. I was able to go to an ethnic ethics class my spring semester, and that class changed my life. In that class, all we did, there was a whole bunch of different races and nationalities represented, and all we did the whole 9 weeks was talk about the different stereotypes and prejudices that we had to go through. That was an amazing experience for me. Going through that experience, I was opening up myself to a lot of different things. I was able to get involved in student activities. I became a part of the theater department. I enjoyed my college experience because I decided not to hide. So if I go back and talk to my 17-year-old self, I would say be bold and take chances. Still be smart. Cause,
and it sounds exactly like the same thing I would tell myself. We both...
Yeah, there was risk.
Yeah.
But keep your wits about you, okay? You still living in America as a black man, but, you know.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing.
Call in more.
Yeah.
I want some funny stuff.
Oh, no, I'm on this. I looked at my Facebook and I saw the join the live feed. I'm like, hey, I'm in on this.
So call back with some embarrassing stories about Alma.
I have to block his number.
Now, I'm watching now. As soon as y'all say something that sparks my interest, I'm calling.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Y'all take it easy, man. Keep doing your thing. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Bye, boo.
Bye.
That was Brother Trey Brown.
Yes.
By way of Jacksonville.
Sirius 6. Shout out to PBS.
So, just a couple more. Miss Elisa Curry.
What'd you say?
She said she would never change who she is. She said never change who you are to please others. And you are beautiful and unique. Keep striving. So a lot of these, and it kept going. Like, that one thread had about 60
comments on it.
And it was coming, and it was something that I had started thinking myself, and I realized this was important to people because you living with so many regrets, and it's really keeping you from breaking through that barrier.
One of my, because I definitely am a person who this is one of the reasons why I believe that I'm not that I did not achieve more of the success that I wanted to, because I have not hit my personal definition of success, but I got 30, 40, 50 more years. I'm good. But one of the
that wait that long though.
No, we're not. No, we're working now, but things take time. Plants don't grow overnight, Anyway, where was I going with this?
I'm gonna think about it, and let me get through these, and then we can translate. So, Mr. Sevon, he said, finish school first, then be grown. We just want to jump to
right into it.
Be in the bar with our pinkies up. Stay in school, get that.
Save your dollars.
And Kimberly Jackson said, don't make permanent decisions based on temporary situations.
But understanding what a temporary situation is at 17 is really kind of hard.
But that could be just as simple as where you are isn't where you have to always be. And instinctually we know these things, but you can't make lifelong decisions like, I'm just going to go to this warehouse and just suck it through the next 60 years of my life. Because you saw somebody else do
it. Right.
Go with your instincts.
What Jay-Z said, I can't base what I'm going to be off of what everybody else isn't.
Thank you. Exactly. I got two more. Miss Nicole McQueen says, at 17, I knew it all. I had to remind myself, my adult self, of my 17-year-old's fearlessness and enjoy the moment, plus many other things. Miss Evon, Unique, she says, slow down. Being grown up can wait. No need to move out now. Stay at home with grandma. Go to school and stack your bread. Your own apartment can wait until you are really, really ready. Right. And Mr. Brian Anthony First said, "You are good enough."
Amen.
And the one before that, I have a cousin now. I'm the oldest out of a lot of my immediate cousins. My first cousins, well, I am the oldest. And it's crazy because all of them wanted their apartment. And I remember sitting back saying, if my rent go be $500, because then rent was like $500.
Right.
And rent was $500. And this is going to be this amount, and this going to be this amount, and I'm going to have this amount for clothes. That whole Theo Huxtable Monopoly game that we play with ourselves. And they're all running for this. They're all trying to get to a point where they grown and they want to leave home, and then they get their little money and they don't give their parents anything, and then they get out and then they got to call one of us to help them. Like, no, you just died
to get out of here, right?
So now die to get that money to pay that bill.
And the amount of things you just don't get. All right.
We'll go to a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BeExposedRadio.com. Share, like us, call us. We're here. Talk to us.
Didn't get a chance to tune in last week? Well, here's what you missed on the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Being a stage actor, how has that prepared you for comedy?
Oh, man. I think that being a thespian definitely gave me a head start and an advantage over most of the guys who just go right into comedy. I mean, it definitely helps with stage presence, memorization. A lot of comedians in the city, they don't consider every aspect of the performance, like what you're wearing, how you say certain words, and being a stage actor, like I definitely, I'm thinking about every part of the joke when I write it or when I perform it. I try to do it as a performer without looking too stagey.
Tune in every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. and every Saturday 12 to 2 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com. This is the Artist Exchange. Real artists, real talk.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
The black song Spike Lee won't sing. I am the black voice, inauguration bells ring. I am the black sheep disguising the scared wolf. No, I'm the black elephant in the red room, scared shook. White House invites me, you call me their coon. I am the butterfly growing from history's cocoon. I can carry the mantle with God as my goon. He provides the life support, I'm dying, singing his tune. Church folks may not clap, but I'll sing their song. Hip-hop for Jay-Z, now you say you lost one. R&B for Def Jam, rich hipster for Brooklyn. But Spike won't pay me, a crook from Crooklyn. I'm still black girl, magic. I'm still American, tragic. I'm still born again, miracle. And we're still on the borderline, pinnacle. The brink of love or destruction. This is the junction. Will we divide in consumption of social media productions? Or will we finally unite, win the 200-year fight? 70s fists up, that's right. Did MLK die for my rights or just spite? And I'm no political genius. But I won't let this defeat us. I refuse to back down. I'll use my art as my crown. And you can call me your fool. Rehearse lines you didn't learn in these schools. These schools. Your hateful words won't be my definition or my defining moment. Not my vision or my anger. I won't own it. Nor my prison won't condone it. They will be my ammunition to fight the system. We will win them. Hope is alive. This is my stand-in for John Lewis and Ben Carson, Questlove, Spike Lee, and before them. I won't divide now. That's not smart now. God before me, I won't back down. This is my damn America now. Came on a boat, now I'll rock it. Give me the mic, now I'll rock it. Gave me the vote, didn't profit. And I'm no political genius. But these ain't politics as usual. I'm no mad dog, but I rebel. May I revel in the freedom of speech, in the art of standing for peace. Basquiat-style paint streets. On the front lines, let's meet. We can sing one song, victory, and one anthem, land of the free. As one army, you and me. Some political genius, though, I'll never be.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live on BeExposedRadio.com. That poem we just heard was, what's the name of it? No Political Genius. It was kind of, I don't want to say it's her, it's based on a show that she's about to start. That was supposed to be slated for Netflix, but they've
canceled her.
But it was a poem that she's put out there in response to a lot of the hate mail that she got. My personal opinion about this, I am a fan of Chrisette Michele, but aside from that, I didn't want to, until I heard from her, I didn't want to draw any conclusions. I watched an interview that she just did the other day on The Breakfast Club. And her being youngish, I understood her reaction into being invited. She didn't seek to do this. She was invited to do it.
Right.
And she decided, okay, what are the leaders that I look to? What are they doing? Michelle and Barack, they were there. She said, so I'm going to follow suit. And it's crazy, a 55-year-old woman, Jennifer Holliday, said the same exact thing. She said, I heard what Barack said, and I wanted to be a part of it, and I felt like my creativity could bring some type of unity to this situation. Chrisette Michele, on the other hand, she said, well, I'm young, I have a voice. She said, I have all these people that follow me. So if he hears me and sees me, then something will trigger in their mind. But I just felt like we attacked each other and nobody even heard what she sung about. Nobody heard what she demonstrated at this ball that she went to. Go ahead.
Steve Harvey said the same thing.
He said
that
the same
he was
thing.
following suit. He heard what Barack said, and he wanted to
be part of that.
Everybody can't go to sleep that day. Somebody has to be there. We all can't collectively go to sleep for the next 4 years, or it will turn out to be 8 years of this. And then if he get 8 years, then he go get somebody else in there to do another 4 to 8 years. We all cannot be asleep. These last 8 years for Barack, those people were not sleeping.
Yeah, going
They
to sleep
were
is what
against
got him put in office in the first place.
Right.
We all decided we weren't voting.
I'm not going to vote. And those are the people that are sending her the hate mail. And I'm not just her, but those were the same people that had, Jennifer Holliday is somebody's grandmother. And you're saying these vile, disrespectful things because she chose to use her voice in a way to unite people. Now, personally, I've never liked Trump.
In an attempt to unite people.
Right, in an attempt.
And you were not successful.
Right, because she never even got a chance to. And then the people that she would speak, she did not go to the inauguration, speaking on Chrisette Michele, for us. She didn't go to speak to us. Part of that was showing us that we can be a part of this conversation by force or by choice. And I would rather go into a situation with my eyes wide open opposed to sleeping through the next 4 years and waking up
in an internment camp. I'm just sorry.
The possibilities are endless. The possibilities are endless. We're talking about somebody who would rather take $15 billion and build a wall opposed to
build some
up
schools
the water.
In Flint.
Building schools, bettering the healthcare situation, anything.
Providing programs to help offenders get back into jobs.
Marty had posted something, giving that money to help homeless people not be homeless no more.
Right.
Like you can do 15 million things for $15 billion.
Right.
But you decided to build a wall. So you can charge them for the things that they give us, so they can then charge us for the charge that you're giving them. Like, what sense does that make? We don't win.
And this is my thing: is y'all all voted him in because of his great business sense, but I have yet to see that.
And we're gonna get back onto Chrisette Michele because I'm
yes.
not giving no energy. It just makes me so mad.
Look at that.
This is the idea of. Not only did Netflix pull her show that's slated to be starting, but Spike Lee pulled her song from his upcoming film. So our black people's reaction to us, of them not liking us, not any other culture of people, but when we're mad at our own people, the first thing we attack is their pocketbook. The first thing that we attack is their wallet. So, Jordan, you don't want to make your shoes affordable for me? I'm going to attack you where it hurts. I'm going to just make this thing that you worked for not work for you anymore. And I hate that about us. And let alone the song that she made, it was called Black Girl Magic. So that's another piece of work that can inspire maybe 5 or 6 little girls to get up and be their great self that you're not going to hear because he not even on social media, his response, I'm not even willing to have a conversation with her because you ain't on my level. But what are you doing? Did you vote? I think he one of the people that didn't vote. I mean, personally speaking. So you didn't even vote.
But so Spike is always like that. Like he's always like the extreme. Like we are always like, hey Spike, why don't you come back to take like 3-4 steps back over here?
You can't see that she as a young person, and this is another older black person turning their back on a younger black person and not giving them any type. You could have had a conversation like, look, Chrisette, this is why I didn't really agree with this, but he's not even willing to do that. And we brought up Snoop Dogg, but we're gonna continue this conversation shortly. But call into the show 410-702-5657, or you can text us at 443-642-9403. Don't forget to go to YouTube, subscribe, and share at Be Exposed Radio. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You want some gentle encouragement. Then you're on your way to your GED diploma and a better life.
But I know they're probably just a little bit nervous. You can find it in yourself to take that first step.
You can improve your future. You can do this. I know you can.
You need to start pushing yourself.
Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up. Don't make me repeat myself.
Whatever level of motivation you need to get your GED diploma, we've got a pep talk that's right for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and find free GED classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
When you were a little kid and you thought about what you wanted to be, teaching was at the top of your list. But things changed. And as you got older, teaching didn't seem like the best option anymore. So you're thinking you'll be something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Now you want to be a doctor. You don't think teachers save lives? 25 at a time. An actress? Try playing a different role every time the bell rings. How about a scientist? Ever heard of physics? Chemistry? Who do you think teaches that? Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, and taking learning far beyond the four walls of the classroom. It's time to recognize that great things are happening in teaching and put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National...
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, and welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live on BeExposedRadio.com. We were just discussing the Chrisette Michele debacle, and not just on Chrisette Michele, because I don't want to harp on her because she's not the only artist that decided to do it. She actually collaborated with another gospel artist to actually do this, and especially when you are coming from a faith-based perspective and you want to heal, you want people to heal, and it's not always going to be something that is popular. It's not always going to be a popular point of view. It's not always, but the backlash that I hear Chrisette Michele having is the reason that young people are so frustrated right now. They're really being criticized for doing what it is that we told them to do. I'm not saying me, because I'm still a millennial, but it's just the idea of we were supposed to change the world. We were supposed to be bigger than our parents, the options that our parents had. We're supposed to explore those things, and we're taught that we're no equal, we're no different, we're the same. But young people right now are so fluid because we taught them that they needed to be just as good. You're just as good as that little white boy over there, as that little white girl over there. You're just as good as them, and now they feel that. So somebody like Chrisette Michele feels as though she could walk in that room and make a difference. But we're telling her, no, you can't. No, you can't. You should have sit down and shut up. That's what you should have done. The actions that I feel, I think that's what is being said to her. And anybody who feels as though I could fix this. I think I could do this. No, you can't. Sit down. Shut up. Like I'm not gonna. And I understand Snoop Dogg sent that message out before this, but I'm not gonna take no advice from Snoop Dogg. I'm not. He's not the pinnacle of what somebody I would want to listen to. I'm not, because he has
I
no...
can respect that. I think that I'm a firm believer in saying that if you have the opportunity to say something, you should say something worth listening to. Mm-hmm. And I totally even before, once I knew that Chrisette Michele once I heard the news that she had accepted the invitation.
And she did so after Jennifer Holiday.
And I understood that she probably was trying to go in there to make a statement. Mm-hmm. However, I think that she was remiss in not addressing it prior to going. I think that may be where
mentioning.
What happened?
What you mean mentioning?
Remiss. I think she was remiss in not doing that poem beforehand. You know what I mean? And having this dialogue before this is my point, and this because then she would have gotten the feedback and we could have dealt with it.
Well, she already knew, and she said that she knew what was going to be said.
So then why not address it ahead of time? Okay,
but
so
why
maybe that's
though?
Just me.
Why? But I'm not clear as to why she had to explain herself. An adult, she had to explain to another group of adults why she decided to do that. But that doesn't give her any. I'm not obligated to you for what I feel as though I should be doing to my individual self. I'm not obligated to these people. Just because you buy a ticket or you may be a fan, I'm not obligated to you. If I feel like I'm doing something right, I'm going to do it with my own visceral reaction.
But how you gonna say that when the whole point was I'm gonna use my celebrity to make a statement?
But it wasn't about us. She wasn't going there to make a statement to us. These were to these white people who kept saying that they were gonna make America great again. And she felt as though her whole point was, I felt as though I wasn't included in that they kept talking about. I felt like the people that look like me, that sing like me, that act like me, that are creative like me, that come from where I come from, we were not included in that. And I wanted to get that across. And this young lady is now being, and it made more sense to me when I saw the interview that she did on the Breakfast Club, because she said now she's getting calls from governors and from mayors and congressmen to come meet with them. So what could have happened now is she has this platform to now be able to talk to people that can make change happen. So instead of us like, girl, bye, I don't have nothing to say, you share your thoughts with her. Say, this is what I want to be done. This is what my feelings are. Or go there with this in your basket. Make sure you show him this. Make sure. But we are so stuck in what we personally believe. We cannot ignore the fact that this man is the president of the United States. I don't care what anybody thinks, what anybody says. He is now the president. He's not president-elect. He is the president of the United States. Maybe not for 4 years. I really pray that it's going to be like 6 months and then they find out all the corruption that he's done. But he is right now the president. So us just turning our back to this and trying to close our eyes and wake up 4 years later, that's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Somebody needs to do something. It needs to be a consistent, somebody needs to do something. So whatever you think you need to do, and it's whatever platform you have. She's not a politician. She's not a teacher, so she can't affect change in the classroom. She can't affect change in the library. She's not a library. She's a singer. So what else could she do? You know, and she made an even bigger statement. Just 100 years ago, we weren't even allowed at an inauguration to sing. There were performers that had to then sing on the steps. Like, it was just the idea of just not... We were never included in the conversation. We're not included in this Make America Great Again because it was never great for us. So we're not the people that he's speaking about. And because you know that, you have to then find out, okay, what can I do to get on this? And because she had been one of those performers, just like Jennifer Holliday, who had performed at the White House, now this booking agency booked her because she had already been there. That's why she was chosen. It wasn't anything connected to her own personal beliefs. It was just she was somebody who already had got clearance to perform there, so they asked her to do it again. That was it. There was no rhyme or reason. I'm quite sure ain't nobody in the Trump household blasting Chrisette Michele. I can just about tell you that they're not doing that.
I was wondering how they ended up getting to her as an invite.
But Jennifer Holliday and Chrisette Michele had already performed at the White House. They performed for Barack. And Chrisette Michele said, I performed for Barack for free. It wasn't even a question of whether I was going to charge him.
Right.
She said, but this one, that was a negotiation of a price. This is how much I charge. So up front, it was business.
Right.
It had nothing to do with her being so in love with this man or feeling like, but the other half of that was she felt like she had a specific population of people who follow her who she could speak for, being this celebrity. And that's what she did. I just really feel crazy. I understand people who don't understand the magnitude of what Chrisette Michele's name means in mainstream. I understand that. So you're like, well, who does she think she is? She thinks she's Chrisette Michele, somebody who can get a call from any governor or who could call up a governor and get a meeting before Nate and Alma could. Mm-hmm. Like, we can't do that. We're going to be put on a list and we're going to see him maybe
before he has to go.
Exactly. You know, but she could get a meeting with him just by her publicist calling him. That's it. So who else would say these things? You know, and I get, you know, people meeting with him, it means that they may support his mission. Or what if they just feel like Kanye West or what was the talk show, Steve Harvey, felt like, well, I got enough celebrity whereas though I could influence him. You know, I'm that type of Negro. I could probably get him like, hey, you know what, Trump, listen to us. And that's what I took from it.
You know what? That's fine, but Trump was a celebrity before he ran for office.
Right.
And all of his African-American celebrity friends all came out and tried to speak to him, tried to get him to see reason, and he refused.
Right.
You're not even one of his friends. Why would he listen? He wouldn't listen to the people he considered friends. Mm-hmm. Why is he going to listen to you?
Well, part of that is, it's a something is up way too loud.
This.
Part of the I think the rational thinking of people that are black celebrities is I could have some influence, but it's also the opposite side of it. Trump needs the support of all America right now. Like, he really does need it. He can't really be the president because he really don't have any real active powers outside of signing executive orders. That's the only thing that he can really do, but that still has to be something that's decided on, something that's voted on. It's not something that he could just say, this is what's going to happen. A body of people still need to say, this is what it is. But those Republicans that are now over most of the House of Representatives and House of Senate still have constituents like you and I who can say, you know what, you're not going to be here in the next 2 to 3 years because I'm not voting for you again. And that's what's being said in a lot of the black and brown communities. We're not voting for you no more. And these people know that. That's why it's not a lot of them that are making these big stances towards him, because they have to play this game so they do get reelected. So in 2 years, when the House and Representatives come up for their reelection and they switch over power, we can say, you know what, don't want you in there no more. We have that power, so they have to play that game. And we have that power. We don't know it yet. We don't realize how much power we actually have. But Trump knows how much power we have. So that's why there's an Omarosa. That's why there's an Omarosa. That's why there's a Ben Carson. That's why those people exist. Because it's, in a way, we don't really like Omarosa at all. But it's still a black woman. He still put a black woman in this position that we don't know what the hell she does. But he thinks that she represents us. Because she told him that. She convinced him that she represents us. And we know that she doesn't. And he knows now, like, maybe I should have picked somebody else. But I'm just going to keep her because she's real controversial. So she's going to keep the pot stirred for me. But I really need to get to these people. Aside from, he probably looked at the list of people who had clearance to come there and said, Chrisette Michelle, this person right here, so I'm going to get the spiritual community in on it. Maybe if I get them in on it, they going to do it. But there's a lot of people said no to him. So look how many people he probably went through before he got to Chrisette Michelle. Everybody in her camp told her, no, don't do this. And she felt as though, okay, I think this would work for me. She said, I think I have a voice. I think I can make some type of change. And she thought she was going to be able to meet him. But then when she realized she couldn't, she said, well, there's other people in there. She said, I could just as easily went back to my dressing room and waited till the next performance. But I went and I met the people that were there. And that's what she did. Like, she really felt, and I think the backlash from this is us always sitting down and shutting up. And when I first heard the first remark, I sit down and shut up. You can't do this. Why do you think you can bring about any change? Barack couldn't do it. What makes you think you can do it? And that's what, when I hear stuff like that, that's what I hear. Shut up. Sit down. Be quiet. And that's what we used to. We all use our parents. If your parents are over the age of 50, that's what we heard at some point in our life. Shh, be quiet. Yeah. Be quiet. Shh. This is grown-up business right here. But the grown-ups didn't vote. So now the children are left to be heard. So Jabril smuddled in a room.
Smuttled.
Wow. With his UB gear on. You see him trying to represent? He bought up everything in the store. That rebate check is gone. You hear me?
You and my coworkers say the same exact thing.
So you ain't swiped that UB card?
Oh yeah. The B card? Everything
you
on campus.
Eat.
Yeah.
You can go to the Excess?
Yep.
So we going to Excess?
Well, no, you can only go to Access once your campus cash gets on the card. You can use bookstore credit.
That ain't dropped yet.
You can use your bookstore credit at Barnes
and
Nobles.
That rebate check ain't come yet. He's still spending the book.
No, I got like $1 in campus cash because, books, school gear, lunches.
Just know that the edition behind works just as good as the new edition.
True. What, for books or just in general?
Because most times you don't even make it to the end of that book.
Yeah, like I had 4 classes and I used 1 book. Out of all the books I brought, I'm sitting in class like, yo, when are we gonna use this book?
And you only gonna get less than a third back.
I got like $5 total.
No, I'm talking about as far as when you go to try to sell those books back.
Yeah.
If that teacher is not gonna use that book next semester.
Yeah, I got $5.75 total.
A good table book
for 6 books.
Yeah.
I paid over $400.
And if it's really a part of your class study that you really not forever touch again, you can go to the library and check that book out.
Okay.
Because every book that every teacher tries to, so all the books that you had to use this semester, the teacher had to put at least 1 or 2 copies of them in the library. depending on how many students you have at that.
Got it. Won't buy no books next semester.
If you would have talked to college students, you would have learned that. But it's cool.
I didn't know. That was my first time being at a university.
But you didn't think we knew. That's what it was.
I didn't. No, that's not it.
He just don't
Why
love us
would
no
you even
more.
think to
He
ask
just
that
don't love us.
question
Ask what question?
about books?
I just was like, all right.
It's because young black people don't like asking nobody for help.
That's so not true. I've learned that the whole, what would you tell your 17-year-old self? It's
That was
okay
just
to ask for
yesterday.
help. I mean, I'm
But
not
you know
that
next
old,
semester,
but
you know next semester.
yeah, I know this semester.
So you can use more of your book vouchers for what you really want.
Where what I really need.
Like more gear.
Didn't he just turn 18 like yesterday?
No, he like 22.
I'm 22. I'll be 23 in March.
Mazel tov.
So he an old fool. He an old young fool.
No, I mean like the 17-year-old self question. I would say the first thing is save money.
Go
That would
save
be
money.
save money.
And don't buy $50 keychains.
I still got that. I still got it. I ain't buy that when I was 17 though. So,
But it has no value.
let's
now.
not
You
talk
can't
about
sell
that.
at
Let's
the
not talk
store.
about that. Next thing I would tell my 17-year-old self
A
is
$50
to
keychain. Because it makes his keys look like a Swiss Army knife. That's why he likes it.
Let's not.
Because all the keys are in one place.
Let's not talk about that. That's helpful to me. One.
All my keys are in one place.
Oh, shiny.
And this was what, 50 cents, 75 cents at Home Depot?
Right, seriously though.
Look.
And it can be on my belt loop.
Mine's can be on my belt loop too.
But yours costs $60. I'm just saying. You can't have that attitude of saving money and you don't see.
That's
what
why
a
I'm
waste
telling
of
my
money
younger self to save money.
Yeah, but that
To
younger stuff
save
is only like 4 years ago. But I'm just saying to you, you have to acknowledge what a waste of money that was, or
Right.
you're gonna do that again.
Right.
I'm just saying to you.
Yeah, and I'm coming to that point in my life.
What does that say?
Break.
That does not say break. That looks like dope.
What? Somebody needs to rewrite that.
That K's funny.
Right.
He said.
And you can
I was gonna
erase
say that
it.
definitely isn't.
We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on Be Exposed Radio.
I didn't even get to say what I was going to say to my 17-year-old self.
All right, we got another 7 y'all.
Didn't get a chance to tune in last week? Well, here's what you missed on the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
It's a team now.
It's a team.
And she's not doing everything on her own.
Still working 24/7, but yeah.
But it's now in your lane. So how has it helped you with having this strong team?
Well, we're able to do more.
Right.
Like, just me alone, I was only able to do so much. And then with the team, we're able to do so much.
So it's now just delegating and being able to separate.
And it's also great, too, with the team, getting different points of view. And everybody on this team is also a creative person. So getting points of view of, like...
For you?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, if we're going to work with artists, I want people that actually know what it's like to be an artist.
Right.
You know? Like, what's it like to be a starving, struggling artist?
Like having a school board of people who have never taught.
Oh, don't even get me on that subject.
Okay, my bad.
I was reading politics until 3 o'clock in the morning last night. Gosh, what a nightmare. But yeah, so I mean, the team part, like, we're just able to do more, and we get so many different perspectives too, because we have a hip hop artist, a visual artist. You know, China's 11 years younger than me, so there's a big age gap too. And then Jonathan Richardson, aka Stilo, he's a DJ, a music producer, and tech guy, but he's in his 40s. So we have like this great overall age gaps. We have everyone has different, personalities. So you're kind of getting like this whole overall picture of working with artists from different demographics and ages, and what people struggle with, and kind of coming together to fill those voids and solve those problems.
Right.
And you can't do that alone, because I have my perspective. I don't have Shep's perspective or China's perspective.
And it's possible to start this or reignite that artistry in you. And we can equate this to even being an entrepreneur in general.
Right.
But it's so much more powerful when you have individuals that are like-minded and they have similar energies that work together and create that harmony, because you get so much more accomplished.
Tune in every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. and every Saturday 12 to 2 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com. This is the Artist Exchange. Real artists, real talk.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up? And welcome back to the Artist Exchange.
Yo.
That's why I like children.
I'm a grown man.
No, you're not.
I'm a grown man.
No, you're not.
I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Oh, you're not.
Go do your show. We're not gonna do this.
He's a grown
What was that
little
one
man.
I read? Let me find that one that I said.
Grown little man.
Yeah.
Have you had something repossessed yet?
Oh no, I'm trying to stay away from that.
Then you're not grown.
Old black people are so.
Nah, I mean, I'm trying to stay away from that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
Have you ever had your car towed?
Have you ever had to eat a ketchup packet before? Then you're not a grown man.
You ain't never had to eat a sugar sandwich? You're not a grown man.
I've been there. I've been there before.
You've been there?
Yeah.
But you thought it was fun.
No.
You ever had to eat a wish sandwich?
No.
Yeah,
No.
then you're not a real man.
No.
You
Absolutely.
squeezed it
just
together.
wish. Oh, I just wish this was.
Felt like a cracker. So we have Mr. Jabril in the building. Go to scene 4. That's what I was saying. Huh? Oh yeah, I didn't see it. So you got to move over this way. So we have Mr. Jabril in the building. He now goes to UB.
University of Baltimore.
Why is he that person?
What? University of Baltimore. Y'all rep y'all schools all the time.
I said UB. I said UB. Nobody knows it as University of Baltimore. That sounds crazy. That's why I said UB.
All right. Okay.
University of Baltimore. But anyway, Jabril has joined us in the building, and our conversation ended with, "What would you say to your 17-year-old self?" And he had what would he say to his 17-year-old self 4 years ago?
Yeah.
What would you say?
So the first thing I would say is save money. Next thing I would say is don't be afraid to take chances, because I feel like when I was 17, I was afraid of other people's opinion of how I was moving and how I was doing my own thing, but I never really stopped and noticed what I wanted to do for myself. So I feel like if I would have took more chances when I was 17 with anything, job opportunities, girls, and just life in general. No, I'm saying like
girls.
No, it's not that. Well, when I was 17, of course,
Little
that's what interests me. But now, those lessons like taking a chance would have helped me into my adult life.
That's what that meant by temporary. Don't let permanent decisions based on temporary situations. Don't make permanent decisions like little girls.
Right.
Distract you from your long-term goals.
Yeah, and also I had to learn that the hard way. So as I was going through my life,
you didn't listen to what people were saying to you.
I mean, I listened to what people say to me. That's the thing.
You heard listen and heard. Remember she said it was two different things.
Okay, so I listened to
you heard
others.
it. You
I
heard
listened
it.
to others.
You heard what they were saying.
And I also listened.
But you didn't do what it is that they said.
No, I didn't do it right away.
So you didn't listen. No. You heard it.
I mean, you can't expect somebody to move. Like, I can't tell you to do something and you move.
But I'll listen to what you say, and I'll see the validity in what you said. Like, you just pointed out that said video on there.
Yeah.
And I listened to that. So that's something that I'm going to make sure
me not doing the action right away doesn't mean that I didn't see the validity in what you guys were saying. Or
you did. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Not true.
It is.
Not true. I wouldn't say that, if I don't do an action, I don't see the validity. Of course, I sit back and listen and soak up all the information.
So if I tell you right now that you need to start plucking your facial hair,
I would ask you, why do you think that's true?
Because I see a hair bump on the side of your face.
Okay.
So if you pluck that hair out of your hair instead of letting it go back into your skin, you wouldn't get a hair bump.
Okay, so that's valid, and I take that because I do notice that there is a hair bump. So if you tell me,
did you just notice that?
No, this has been a problem. So if you tell me like about a situation, I see that you're having a problem with the situation. I went through the same thing. These are the ways I got through it. I'll listen to that and I'll do that kind of stuff. Not saying that I'll act right away.
After you make the mistake again.
No. Because if the first time you make a mistake, it's a mistake. The second time is a decision.
And then after I tell you about the decision you just made, and if you make that decision for a third time, then it's a habit.
Right. I've never made a mistake 3 times.
Long story short, face your fears. We'll be back tomorrow with the Artist Exchange Radio Show. We'll be doing a live reading. If you are an actor or you can just read, email me, the Artist Exchange Radio Show at gmail.com. We'll be doing play readings the last Saturday of every month. The next one will be announced shortly.
Yes.
But tomorrow is Short Thing with David Eyes, directed by Miss Big Mama Ama.
What's up?
Actors will be Miss Alexis Taylor, singer. We're gonna get her to sing Purple Rain tomorrow, so she don't know it yet. And Mr. Kenyon Parson.
Miss Kenyon.
We'll be right back tomorrow at 12 p.m. on the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on gmail.com. I said gmail.com. I said on Big Exposed Radio. That's sugar. That's why I didn't want to drink that juice. I don't drink a lot of juice anymore. So we'll be right back. It is radio show and that whole thing. All right.
Check out this flashback from It Is What It Is radio show.
He was chilling. He was doing his thing.